Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the SheEO Lead-In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Welcome back to Season 2 of SheEO Lead-In on Cloudcast Media, the podcast that shines a spotlight on remarkable women in leadership. I'm Erin Tanner, the show's producer, filling in for our host, Rebecca Jones. Get ready to dive deep into the personal stories of influential San Diego women who have blazed trails, conquered obstacles, and achieved incredible successes, all while empowering the next generation of young women to step confidently into their own leadership roles. We are set to bring you more empowering conversations that celebrate the women in leadership. Let's lead in together. Well, Amanda Flisher, thank you so much for coming in today.
Yay, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Is this your first podcast?
It is not my first podcast.
I didn't think so.
No.
I was like, you have done all the things.
I have done, we'll see if I've done all the things, but no, I've been on a few podcasts.
No, guys, get ready, truly. So I'm going to fangirl again, because I do this every time I talk about Amanda. Let's see, this is our first week of season 2 of the podcast, and we had Samantha Beck in earlier this morning.
Wonderful!
I know you guys know each other really well.
Yes,
from
we do.
SD Lead.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, we do.
You've been involved with SD Lead for how long?
Oh my gosh, 2017 was can't do math, but that's when I first started.
Yeah, yeah. And in that program, we were talking about how there's mentorship, and guys, Amanda is my mentor and coach, and so it's been incredible. Last 3 months now, kicked off the whole thing with you. So, tell us how you got started in self-leadership coaching.
Yeah.
And a bit about your business.
Yes, well, thank you. I've been coaching for, oh my goodness, I think 14 years, but I will say I feel like I've been coaching much, much longer than that. But I got into the business, I started my business in 2013 after many, many years in the learning and development field, and just started going through and realizing how much I love coaching and training and developing other people. And so I have done so many different things over the last 15 years, and have loved ever since. I get to meet amazing women like you and get to do amazing podcasts like this one.
Mm-hmm. When you were working within an organization and doing organizational development, was there like aha moments of, wait, I want to go deeper with that person, or hey, I would really like to do that differently, but they're not really letting me. Like, I wish I could pull these managers aside and whatever. What was it for you?
Yeah. So in my old job, I was a program manager for a long time doing leadership development. And that's how I got into all of this as well. Like, I did sales training, and then I moved into leadership development. I saw coaching. I saw how it could all be done. And there was always this gravitational pull towards counseling, education, teaching someone something else, and something really more about who they are. Like, I was really into understanding what was going on for the person and how could we do it better. And at the time, all this stuff like therapy wasn't a big deal. Like, we weren't talking about it like we do today. But I was like, I like therapy, but that's not the field I want to go into. And so as I sat in my role as a program manager and coaching and leading these classes, I just felt like, gosh, there is something here I want to be doing. And I see that people bring their whole selves to work, and they're trying to work it out, sometimes at work. And we've been told our whole lives, don't bring all that to work. And granted, there's places and times and definitely need to leave stuff at the door.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But I just felt like there was some kind of struggle, especially for women, of trying to figure out, how do I be my most authentic self in the workplace while managing all these different norms and cultures and stuff going on for them at work.
Was that modeled for you at home? Like, did you see your mom going into the workspace, or how was that? What was your exposure to women in the workspace?
So fortunately, my mother was a stay-at-home mom. She was a wonderful stay-at-home mom. Still is. Like, I love her. Still, like, when we go home, we always like, where's our cookies, Mom? Like, we're constantly like, just, adore her. Call her all the time. But my dad had his own business. So there was some part of me that was like, how in the world am I going to make both those worlds work when I become a working adult? I knew wholeheartedly I wanted to be a mom. So thankfully we have 3 beautiful children who are adorable, and they all started school, and they're all in one school this year. Our littlest is in kindergarten.
The heavens parted, and they're like, it is your time.
It is my time. And I'm just so happy we have the best teachers, the best school district, the best school. My husband is also a high school teacher, so we're really involved with education and out there. But growing up, my dad was always available. He was always taking me to volleyball, always there for dinner, always there for us kids. So I was really fortunate to have a really great childhood. We got to do a lot of things. Yeah. So, but somewhere in there, I always want to be a teacher, right? Like there was some calling. My dad's like, you don't want to do the business? And I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want to take over the business. But, and he let me go. He's like, you figure out you, and you're really good at it. Also, I was like the neighborhood babysitter. Like everyone trusted me. I was constantly babysitting all the way through college. Like I probably should have started a babysitter's club, and it probably could have had a phone in my room and called all my friends. I gotta, get you guys some business here. But so that spurred on me going to UCSD to do human development. And I was like, how do I get into teaching? But weirdly, when I was in the teaching program, I had this epiphany that I was like, this isn't it. And I ended up graduating a little bit early from UCSD and finishing out and getting into some jobs that were working with kids with, reading disabilities or understanding. I had a reading comprehension problem when I was a child. And so I just really wanted to help them. So again, it was something calling to coach and train and do stuff.
Yeah. I love how you're connecting the dots.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a big connector of like everyone on this podcast. Go watch Steve Jobs' commencement speech at Stanford in 2005. That to me was a video we constantly would show in our leadership programs, and always that video of him talking about how things don't make sense until you look backwards.
Truly.
And I really believe that. So the aha moment of why I want to do all this was actually when I played volleyball in college, and I was at a community college actually playing, and my entire team would look to me for like, what classes do I take? Where do I go? What do we do?
No
How do I get at it? Like, I want to make sure I graduate and go on to the next school. And at that time, I was very excited to, do my schedule and like be on top of my grades and work and do volleyball and all this stuff. So, so I just saw those inklings.
Sure.
Right. But again, it was like counseling wasn't it, teaching wasn't it. And then when I got into my corporate job, and then they saw that I was doing well in sales, they were like, can you teach sales? Can you do this? And I was like, wait, there's a thing called corporate training.
Wow.
I could teach, I could teach people in the classroom. I could teach adults. Like, this is a thing. Like, it just, those little things weren't.
That you hadn't had exposure to
Correct.
yet. And then there are so many jobs. And
Correct.
that, I think that piece of exposure tends to like, we look to what we know.
Correct.
And go, I can be a
100%.
Because I've seen these 4 things.
Yes.
So,
yes. And I adored my 4th grade teacher. I still talk to her to this day. She was such a huge light in my life back then too. And so my parents were like, you were just destined to be a teacher, and I actually got to work in her classroom later in life. And
wow.
So
what
I really
about her?
I think she just was like caring and kind, and that's when I was starting to struggle with like reading, and she just took me under her wing. Also, she had a high school student come into her class to help, and I was like, I will be that girl when I get there.
Look at you go.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so I did it. Like, so in high school, I was dead set on like doing it, and I did. So I got to be in her classroom my entire senior year, and it was so fun. So I think that also helped. But there was always this like strange feeling like this is what I want, but not what I want at the same time. So
you spoke to earlier folks knowing who they are, and also the trust. And so it's clear that your teammates trusted you for guidance, right?
Yes.
And then like the importance of knowing what's going on and people identifying and talking about either to themselves or to somebody else what is going on. How do you bring that into your coaching style or how you interact with your clients today? I mean, part of the coaching, like, what we have to be certified through and understand is that you have to create a psychologically safe space for your client always to feel they can trust you. And you got to build that trust pretty quick. So in my coaching sessions, I really want people to have a place to explore who they are, like really get through the nitty gritty of it all. And I mean, if we get into some nitty gritty stuff that's somewhere in the territory I can't get to, obviously I'm a big fan of, we go back the other way and then we come back and we can partner in a completely way of going forward. But I just felt for myself, it really was a place of like, I had to do my own exploration over my own career and figure out, what am I holding on to? What do I think I'm supposed to be doing? I was one of those, I'm sure you all can figure out, I was one of those A-type personalities that was like, I got to hit all the milestones by a certain age and do it and then get to the money and do the things. And then when I got there, it didn't feel great, right? I was like, something's missing.
So there was a part of me that absolutely wanted to do that for other women, especially, but other men too. I feel I work with a lot of males that are very much like, I don't know what I still want to be when I grow up, or
just following the timeline of
correct,
things. Of
yeah,
the
or they just get on the treadmill and they're like,
Sure.
this is what I'm supposed to do. And then they get on that treadmill and they're like, I don't want this treadmill. Like, this isn't what I wanted, you know? And so that is a huge part of my business, is working with people to identify, like, well, what is it that you want? And how do we get there?
And how often, well, I guess, do people come in at different places? Like, I thought I wanted this, and how do you walk through pivoting?
Absolutely. Yeah. Usually there's an inkling, right? There's something going on that's been for a long time. That's been going on behind the scenes, that they're like, something's off and I don't know what it is. And so my job is to help identify what it is. Luckily, if someone does know what it is, they're like, I'm just ready for a career change, then we go in that direction, right? If they're like, something's going on, you know, holistically, I'm not quite sure, we definitely look at those things too. But more or less, my job is to help people forward. And if there's other stuff going on, like I said, we, you know, it's like, there's other specialists we need to send you to.
Sure.
But
something that I love about coaches is they don't, it's a love-hate relationship actually, is they don't give you the answers. They guide you.
Yes.
And I just want the answers sometimes.
I know. Yes, we're not advisors, mentors. You know, we're coaches. Our job is to question. And the good, great coaches in the world are those that lean into curiosity. We don't have an answer. I never have an answer when we get into any session I start. Even trainings, like I don't go into any of the trainings that I do with teams or workshops or things, is I don't hang my hat on like it has to go a certain way. I'm like, every team is going to be different. Every experience is going to be different. We're going to have a great time. We will get through the content, but let's see what comes out of today.
Sure.
So
I want to go in two different directions. So hopefully I'll hold on to one, because I'm going to pick a direction.
Okay.
For folks that are just now new graduates and getting into their career, what would you give, like, what advice would you give them? You can go wherever you want with that.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Looking back, I wish I had tried more, for sure. Like, I wish I had just not been so dead set on I gotta land somewhere.
Gotcha.
I think that actually, I mean, great, I landed where I needed to, but I really wish I got to play more and like learned and wasn't so afraid.
Yeah, I think Gary Vee talks about, which is, I don't know, you know, listeners. But yeah, like 20s is a time to try everything.
Try it all.
And we are very scared of play and try and whatever, thinking that, well, I'm not really sure. And does that mean that I'm going to be behind if I play now? Then what about
later? Yeah. And I was a big what if, like, oh my gosh, I gotta make this happen. I mean, I graduated a whole quarter early at UCSD, like you can imagine. Like, you know, so I was constantly, how can we get ahead? But for anyone new, I would just say try it all, but maybe it's like try it over here in the hobbies, and then maybe you are leaning into something else. But definitely that. The second thing that was the greatest gift of all time to me was, you know, my volleyball coach was, you know, I was not doing well in a math class, and he's like, it's okay, you can take the W. And I was like, are you sure? You know, and I was like, I'm going to never get into UCSD. He's like, you already got into UCSD. I was like, okay. And he's like, just take the calculus class. You know, it was this big thing. Like, I just could not see this answer in front of me. And he's like, it's okay to change your mind. Like, this wasn't the class to take, you'll take it there. And I ended up actually getting an A- at UCSD in the same class.
Okay, so failure being something that we have interesting relationships with. 100%. Some are like Sarah Blakely often, like her dad would ask her, what did you fail at this week? Now I'm like taking that, putting it in my back pocket, because that was not the relationship I still have, or don't have that relationship with it. Even though I'm like, my little ones, like, sit down, what did you fail at? They're like, what kind of question is that? But truly, what is your relationship maybe now than it used to be? Or
oh gosh, before it was panic mode. I mean, it was sheer, like, there's no way to fail. Like, you cannot fail at this. Like, you have to go for it. So what, unfortunately, it kept me from trying new things, right? So that was the problem. But once I built a better relationship to failure, which failure I think is it's a complete necessity in experimenting, right? Like, you're going to fail. Like, first time driver, you're going to fail at like getting out of the first time. You're going to fail at the new project. You have to have a better relationship to it in order to try new things, experiment, be innovative, find out what you like, right? Like, you've got to fail.
Truly.
But Marshall Goldsmith is a wonderful, you know, coach, and he works with executives, and he was one of my first like big time coaches that I was like, you know, studying and learning from. And he has a whole thing around fail forward. And, you know, that's where I really learned the whole concept of this idea of like fail forward, but the meaning of like, keep going. Don't just fail and stop. Maybe it was like you were on the right path, but maybe it wasn't the right pivot, right?
Yeah.
So failing forward. And that's what I believe wholeheartedly with the kids. Like, I want them to practice failing.
Yeah.
You know, that means they tried something.
Yeah. The practice, like, this is life. We're practicing it at all times. It's not like this is our set thing or what we're going to.
Yeah. And the other thing is too about failing is that if you keep failing at something over and over again, right?
Maybe you're solving it.
There's something there that you shouldn't be paying attention to. But at the other side of it, like, if you enjoy it and you are just enjoying it for the purpose of play and understanding, like, go for it. Like, keep failing. It's totally fine. Sure. But if there's an outcome you're desiring from that, maybe definitely maybe pivot a little bit and find out, well, how can I fail better? More excitingly, like, I don't even know if it's a word, but like,
I like it.
Like, sounds just good. Something exciting that you want to do,
Sure.
but you're like, I want to keep experimenting and try this.
Absolutely.
So,
You are very diverse in where spaces you take up, and people are like, yes, please be a part of us. So, working with one-on-one, individuals one-on-one, organizations, sit on boards, all of that.
Yes.
Do you change? How does it in one space different from the other, or is it not?
I try to be myself as much as I can wherever I am. So everyone unfortunately has to take my goofy side, my fun side, my, I'm going to be an encourager through and through. Like, I'm always going to be a coach at the end of the day. Like, if I hear anything, I'm like, tell me more about that. Right. Yeah. Like, so there is a part of me that was trying to hide that place for a long time and just be so professional and so buttoned up and all these things. But I found the more I was more myself, the more professional and buttoned up I was, right? Like, it was like, I know how to turn on those moments when I need to be that. So yeah, there's times when it's like I need to be the board chair and be responsible for things. And then there's times when I'm at home with the kids and just need to let loose and have fun. But there's definitely, and then my coaching practice, like, I want my clients to know I got them. Like, there's a space that they feel good. And then in the classroom, I always want people to feel great in their team trainings, their workshops. And
you do. My gosh. Yeah. Like, the way that you started off our entire advanced cohort is just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm like asking for coffee. I literally, I was like trying to negotiate for coffee, and I'm like, oh, sorry, everyone.
But thank you, because we were all like, who's going to help us?
And we need afternoon coffee.
You showed up with your horse and just
yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. But no, I really do. As a corporate trainer, right? Like, my job when I was doing sales training was I was in a classroom for 2 weeks at a time, training multiple, my trajectory was very strange and odd because I did work for a for-profit institution here in San Diego. Many that listen may know exactly who I'm talking about. And my job, I felt, was to create the safe space of what is education. I wanted people to emulate, what do we actually believe here? What are we doing here? And so I would try to do that through the work and learn who I was in the classroom and help train. Like I said, my husband's a high school teacher, so he would try to give me tips, but his tips sometimes would be so funny. He's like, well, if they're not paying attention, just send them outside. I was like, well, HR is probably not going to let me send them outside. I don't think that's going to work. But it was fun to like talk about our careers in a different way. But I was literally in the classrooms for 2 weeks at a time, take a break, and then go right back in and training again for 2 weeks at a time for years, and then moved into leadership development where I was training at higher levels and getting people to see management in a different way and how humanistic we need to be as managers and leaders. And then when strengths came along, that was really fun.
Okay, beautiful, because I want to touch on this. Yeah. So you gave me wording that helped me. So I'm a huge fan of Clifton Strengths. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what to do with two of them. I'm where in the world is this helping me? Yeah. And you gave me like language. I'm okay. I'm going to make it. And so how do you implement that in your coaching? Is that the thing, or what is...
It's a piece of it, right? Okay. Just even as like, it's a piece of any kind of training or any piece of like, there's a lot of people that believe like these assessments are like the be all end all. Sure. Like there's so much to a human being that like our skill sets, our education, our backgrounds, our things. And this is just another window into who we are. Yeah. I just love it so much because it's full of data, and I've been using it now for 13 years. And it's, I just see so many things that come true in people all the time with it. So now what my job is just to go and train amazing teams all over San Diego, have all this fun stuff. But that's where I saw at my old job was that there was a gift that we were given, which was, hey, we want to come in and work with all of you from Gallup. And they came in, and we were blessed with getting trained as educators at the time. And so I got to work very closely with Gallup for many, many months, almost as like, I just would pick up the phone and call them and they'd be like, okay, walk you through this, walk you through that. So
okay, their customer services are amazing.
They are. Yes, they're so good. But I got to be literally in contact with one of the head people of all of education. Cool. So it was like I got this one-on-one with Gallup. So it was super fun. And then I'm in a network of other incredible strengths leaders or coaches here in San Diego. And so we all just kind of work together and work on projects together.
I imagine those conversations.
Oh my gosh, it's dreamy. And there's days when, I mean, some of these gals that I get to work with, like I remember sitting at my desk being like, one day I'll work with them. And then now we're like all friends and have, wine and drink and like have a great time and, get together and then talk shop, so it's super fun to be part of that. Mm-hmm.
Earlier when you were talking about how there's time for play and figuring it out and exploring, and being intentional, and when do you put that intentionality, or is that the intention that you can play at that time? Yes,
I mean I think it's all in the moment, right? Reading the people in the room, reading what is the situation we're at here, right? Like, is it time for play? Is it time for fun? I try to be my most authentic version, which is like, I want to get to know people, I want to smile and have a great time. But there's times when you've got to do hard things and it's not always fun sunshines and and for any parent in the room that you've had to go talk to the principal because something's happened at school or like something's going on in the classroom, you're like, I just want to make sure, like those moments are hard where it's like, I'm trying to be like, I want to be on everyone's side, like with everybody. And nothing bad happened. I'm like, I should make that clear. Like nothing bad happened. It was just, getting some clarity on things.
Sure.
And that was like a hard moment, I think, as a parent, where you're like, wait, I see your side and I see the teacher's side and I see my son's side, right? Like I see everything that's going on.
And in those moments, where you're like celebrating, that's them. And you're seeing it from, like, even if it's an adult, they're seeing it from their perspective. And I know my own child that well that I know that they were looking at it from something
totally
they didn't
different.
mean,
So it was, those were hard moments. So like that, but I think as a parent, you're constantly learning on how to have hard moments and like easy moments and all this stuff. And I think our children are our biggest teachers. Like,
amen.
They
really are.
They really are. And there's times when I forget that I'm like trying to guide them or do the things. And I'm like, gosh, they're going to let me know what they need. They're going to tell me what they need. They're going to point the direction. Like they know themselves. Yeah. And I have to trust that like when I was a kid, I knew myself and I was trying really hard to like, okay, I'm doing this for you, but I really want to be this. And, so I really have to lean into the fact that like, I'm here to guide them. I'm here to be their parent. I'm here to, show them how to be adults in the world one day.
Yeah.
So
oftentimes I think that there's this weird thing that we do. We feel like we know ourselves well when we're younger. Then society influences whatever say you should do it differently. Yes. And so we go away from ourselves and then we get to this spot in the timeline of things that then we make our way back to ourselves. So like, what is it? Twice a child, once an adult, or whatever it is. It just seems to be that way. Yeah. And so the closer we can guide our kids and keep our kids like, no, please be you. That's the promise. Yeah.
And also, there is a place of like, don't be so you that you're mean, right? Like, let's not do that.
Because you have to be in other spaces and make room for others.
Totally. Yeah. So there's a lot of like, what my husband and I call like putting in the bumpers on the lane to like keep them in the lane, but also like let them fail a few times, like let them figure it out, have the lessons. It does help that he's a teacher, I'm a teacher. Like we do have this other lens to the world that we're lucky to have. But we really just want the kids to be happy, healthy, productive when they get older, right? Like just be good citizens in the world and just give back, and that's all we can ask for.
What has been a lesson or piece of advice that you can give to women that are both mothers and entrepreneurs having their own business? Like, I like to think of it as like, I'm just trying to keep the glass balls in the air, and I can let the plastic ones fall, but like identifying what are those glass balls? How
Oh gosh, there's so much. This is like another podcast we could talk about.
Sometimes I'm like, oh my.
I think one of the biggest things, I know, like I've been in so many rooms and conversations, and some of my dearest friends, like we've talked about this and been asked this like on stages, is that like, are we supposed to have it all and figure it all out all at once? And it's like, is that a misnomer? Is that a thing? And it's like, for goodness sakes, another pressure point that all of us women have been put under, which is like, sure, have it all. Like, that's impossible. Like, it's absolutely impossible to have it all at once. So the thing is that I always tell clients is like, you're going to be in a season and it's time to push the gas on something, right? Like maybe it's the season to go hard in your career. Maybe it's the season to be like really take a step back and be home with the kids or spend more time with family or something. Or maybe there's an ailing parent and you're like, I just need to be with that ailing parent. Like we're in that transit, there's so many people in the sandwich generation of dealing with all that, where you got littles and you got your parents or grandparents. So it's one of those things where, I would definitely say like advice would be just looking at all of the areas of your life and saying, which areas do I want to go all in on, like that I can go all in on, that I feel great doing, and which areas can I take a little step back? Because we like over our lifetime, we can have it all.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Like over our lifetime,
there's those seasons.
Yeah,
and understanding that, having be able to see down the road,
yes.
and not you're not stuck in this forest.
Totally. Well, and I mean, if you have little kids, they change every day. I mean, like they're
holy
just
cow,
constant.
we just figured out, and then they're like, oh, by the way.
Yeah. So it's just
gonna change it up real quick.
constant, right? So it's always just and I was always one of those, like I still to the same, people like, enjoy while it lasts. But when you're in it, you're like, I know, I just want to get to tonight. Like I just want to get, but at the end of the day, like just knowing who you are, what do you like? Because some women really want to go, like they love their careers and they want to go all in, but I want to make time, so
sure.
Again, it's what do you value? What do you want to put in front of you? What do you want to make time for?
Yeah. And
you have to make the time. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to allow you to do it other than you.
Absolutely. And so what about community around you? Do you have other women that you run with and and are moms, or there's both? I mean, those that know the Clifton Strengths, I have high includer in my top 5. So I have lots and lots of pockets of friends and all different types of things. So I have my like neighborhood friends that we just do life with, right? Like all of us have the same aged boys or girls. They're all in the same grade. So we all just kind of do life, and there's a lot of them. I love them all to death, and I love every family. That's what it makes it easier sometimes when there's like, wait, can you give me 3 of your kids? Because they could all play together.
I mean, I will say my parents, we were very big into like, we had a lot of friends and family that they knew. And so I grew up with that. But I will say I didn't grow up in the village of like what I have in my neighborhood. So I'm very blessed. So we have like that. And then a lot of them do work. Most of them work. And then I have like I said, I have coaching friends. I have trainer friends. I have career friends. My clients always end up somehow becoming my friends. Like they just like later after they've stepped into their careers and they have time to move into those jobs or roles or whatever. So I'm very fortunate. And I kind of wanted a life like this where I could be in lots of different pockets and do stuff. And
well, I'm so happy for you that you've done it. You've done and created it.
Yeah.
If you could give younger entrepreneur women, and a piece of advice or a note from your heart, love note.
I know, a love note.
A love note.
I don't know. There's so many. Just the big thing that comes up is just curiosity. Just pay attention to what you love, what you're doing, what's calling you. Why is it calling you? Who do you gravitate towards? Just leaning wholeheartedly into like, what does curiosity look like? And then second, read Brene Brown's book, The Gift of Imperfection.
I have not. I am a huge fan of Brene Brown, but I don't know that book.
You have to, every person on the planet should read it, for sure. But I'm a huge Brene Brown fan, and that book alone changed my life.
Wow.
At a time when I needed it. And it wasn't like anything's bad. It was just like, I was in that struggle of like, I've done it all, so to speak. Now what? As an ambitious woman, now what?
Yeah.
So that's when I read that book, and it was this huge permission slip, if you will, of like, let it all go and figure it out. Right?
There's a message like in that you don't need permission from anybody, and how much of a difference it makes when someone else goes, yeah, go.
Yeah, for sure. Well, or it's just like this thing that you've got inside you that's like, I just need permission from somewhere. But at the end of the day, and so there's a lot of, this is my next new fun adventure I'm trying to figure out. And everyone who knows me is like, just do it. As really discovering like, what does permission actually look like? We talk about it all the time, but like, what in the world is it? Like, why do we keep doing this? Or why do we keep saying it? But there is an arc to our permissions, and it's very much, there's an inkling, there's something holding us back. And then one day we're like, that's it, I need it. And you give yourself permission. But it can't come from anyone else. Like it legitimately, no matter how many people you ask, even if they're like, go, it's okay, go, but you're still stuck. Like You have to give it to yourself. So
I've had one of those moments a few years ago where I'm like, yeah, and it did. It took a few years, and then when I did, I'm like, wow, what took me so long?
Yes.
But it felt right. Timing was perfect.
Timing is perfect. And again, it's like there's so many things that go into like once that permission is ready. And that was my story, was that I had taken so long to finally get there. And then I wrote myself a note, and I was like, and I just felt like the weight of the world lifted. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And then it still took me a long time to build my business and get things going. But that moment was so pivotal that it was like, I could still remember the day where I was sitting in my cubicle, all the things, like I could remember everything around it was so life-changing, but that book was what changed it all. So not that it's going to change everyone. I know everyone has to be ready for a season like that, but I just really adore her work, and that book is a really great book to get people started. So.
Well, thank you. I could continue to talk to you for days on end.
I know, me too.
So yes, please come back again for another episode.
I would love to.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you. And thank you all listening for joining us on the first week of season 2 of SheEO Lead-In. We look forward to an incredible season together.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learn how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with SheEO host, Rebecca Jones.